All right, everyone, welcome back to another episode of The Sportsman. We've got Joey D, we've got Jet here in a handsome 7-Eleven hat. Not an ad, but
Wow.
quite a hat from the young man.
I'm always open, Pop.
Let's move right into March Madness, man. It was not as crazy. There wasn't as much madness as normal, unless you were betting spreads, than there was. But top seeded teams going down, it didn't seem to be as crazy as in years past. But gentlemen, who was the biggest surprises you saw from this past weekend?
Surprises? There weren't many surprises, to be honest. I mean, Drake beat Mizzou, which was a little surprising. Um, you're right. There were not many upsets. I didn't think it was bad. A lot of
Ole
people were like
Miss,
it's
Ole
the
Miss beat
worst.
Iowa State, which I thought was a bit was I actually thought that was going to happen, but
Who's
that
that?
was Ole Miss beating Iowa State. Iowa State's been very inconsistent though all year. I'm surprised that Michigan is still there. I got to be honest. I did not think that this team was a team that was going to be, a team to be reckoned with, but they're still there. There's not there like the powerful teams are pretty powerful. And you know what I think March Madness to me has shown more than anything is that the SEC is just so good in basketball now. You got teams like Kentucky, you got teams who weren't even close to the top, Arkansas. They're just very, very strong. And I don't know. I think to me, the surprises weren't abundant, but I think that now it'll be interesting to see if the top teams that are left, the remaining one seeds, how they handle themselves going into this next round of games.
Yeah, Florida got scared by Kentucky, by UConn in the second round, which was tight.
Hmm.
Arkansas, I mean, St. John's, which was like the darling of the country this whole year, they went down in the second round, which was, that was one of the things where you're really going to find out what they're made of. They play in the Big East, which is like a great physical conference, but it's not, the Big East of old. People still talk about the Big East like it's the Big East, but it's just not anymore in
Yeah.
terms of talent level. Arkansas was impressive, even though John Calipari cannot figure out how to break a 2-3 zone.
Yo, you
It's
you
his
got to
first
stop shitting
year.
on him. He's taken
And
this team
I
to the
know
next
I'm impressed
level.
with Arkansas. I've always been skeptical of John Calipari. I am impressed with what they've done. I will say though, in that first round, when they were going up against Kansas, which is the most maybe the worst team in college ball all year. Butterfinger Jayhawks is what they've been calling them. These guys, they switched it. Arkansas was kicking their ass. Kansas switches into a fucking zone, and Arkansas forgets how to play basketball. It's like, yo, figure it out. Like that's
I
been my
feel like
issue.
that's the oldest adjustment in the book is
And
if a
they
team's
can't do
not doing
it.
well, they just go to zone,
Of
I
and all
course,
of a
know.
and
sudden
and
teams
and
don't know
John,
what
they
to
couldn't figure it
do.
out, even despite the fact that they have a couple bigs. They won, respect to Arkansas, and then they went out and won again. So I listen. Hats off to Arkansas. And I actually thought the first two rounds were good. I know everybody was kind of shitting on it. We finally got a buzzer beater with Maryland, who,
Yeah.
by the way, has some fucking monsters on that team.
Yeah, that
Their
Queen guy is a
bigs are
problem.
amazing. Colorado State was great too. They have who's the guy in Colorado State? Their best guy. Fuck, why am I blanking on
I
his
forgot
name?
his
He's a
name.
monster. He's an NBA prospect. He elbowed a dude in the head and didn't get tossed. Didn't even get a flagrant one, which was fucking
Oh,
bullshit. At
Clifford?
Maryland. Clifford,
Clifford,
monster.
yeah.
And yeah, that's I thought it was great. I'm looking forward to the coming games.
Have you
Thursday.
guys seen the sportsman bracket so far?
No, how are we doing?
I think Jet's in
I
first, right?
am dead last.
Yeah, of
I
what,
am
four
dead
guys?
last. Yeah, fourth out of four. And the guy who hasn't watched an ounce of basketball the entire year, Mr. Anderson, is in first place.
How it works.
Unbelievable.
That's how it works.
And then Mr. Schicker is in second. You took Duke to win it all. Everyone else has the Florida
Florida.
Gators.
See,
Gators
that
almost
doesn't work,
lost.
and that works in your favor, Jet. I mean, it could either bang you or it could work right in your favor. Because if
Yes,
we all
yeah,
go down the line and Florida wins, we're all going to end up beating you, or other way around.
correct. But in those situations, especially if you're in like a big bracket, you got to get weird with it and do
Of
picks that
course.
you can take just to have a
Of
shot.
course. You know who was speaking of John Calipari, you know who he was close to being my problem this week? Did you see him after he beat St. John's? He was on ESPN talking to what's that guy's name? Reese?
Davis?
Yeah, Reese Davis. And he went on and he was asking him, he was like, man, at some point, you just keep going to different programs, you keep winning, at some point on a personal level, we know you don't like to make it personal, but it's got to feel good. And then his first sentence was like, basketball has never been about me. It's about the guys
That's
I'm,
great.
I'm But then he talked for 20 minutes about how important it was to him when they beat Kentucky this year. He went on this whole fucking story about how it was personal for him,
That
how
was a big
touched he
win. That
was.
was a massive
It
win.
was just
Missing the
like this
point. I
guy
know.
is so full of himself. Even he's
Listen.
trying to let people know that he's not, but he can't help
But
himself.
if you
And
are
those are the worst
successful, you can
kinds,
be
Pop.
full of
I know.
yourself.
Those are the worst kinds. Like I'll tell you this: for as Dan Hurley, for as much of a clown he is, bro, he's open. He's like, yeah, I'm a fucking nutcase. I'm a like, and honestly, he was going to be my problem. And now that we're talking about it, I take it back because at least he's open about the fact that he's a fucking nut job. The guys who pretend that they're just like above all this, but then do that, those are the ones that I have an issue with.
Yeah.
Hurley walked in the locker room being like, yeah, I hope the refs don't fuck you like they fucked up. For a head coach to be saying that, like a two-time national champion, to be like acting like a child walking to the locker room, that's insanity. But I could have a little respect for it because he's always been like that. And he's just open about being a fucking hooligan.
He goes nuts on every play. He loses his mind.
And
who was classy as Patino I think has been a class act.
A lot. Yeah.
He's been a class act. And I don't think him and Calipari like each other at all. There was some animosity there for sure.
They've been rivals for a long time.
Heads for a while. Yeah.
Yeah. But I think they have respect for each other. You know what my favorite part of March Madness is, to be honest? And this has nothing to do with the questions we're asking. It's when they interview the guys after the game. They put up these guys, these seniors on this table, and they're all just like crying and like letting all their guys who you would never see interviewed, because you got some like 16 seed who just got bounced, and they bring 3 guys up to the table, and they're just, you really realize how much this shit means to these guys. It's pretty awesome.
Bob said this week on the Brill and Dumb Show when we were talking, like a lot of these guys who aren't going to the NBA, this is it. That's their last dance. They've been living life in the fast lane. They're NBA. Or not NBA, but they're a collegiate program in basketball, like the kings of the school. And then all of a sudden, that's it. And it's gone. And it's like, now they got to go and be regular guys and like get regular jobs. And like,
you go from walking around on Duke's campus as the absolute man. And then next month you need a job at an accounting firm somewhere.
Hold on a second.
And they don't have the grades. They don't got the grades, Pop.
But that's That's not why I'm saying that they're up there crying, because
I'm not.
But it has something. It means it means a lot to them because it's their last hurrah.
Correct, and they're losing that like team aspect, and they don't like it's a meaningful thing. I didn't mean it in like, oh, they're crying because they're going to fucking ZipRecruiter after the game.
No, I was just bouncing off of Bob's point from the Brilliantly Dumb Show that is a wild mindset to turn from. For 4 years, you've been the absolute fuck. What's cooler than playing for Duke or one of these huge programs and being a college basketball player? And then, you're hitting ZipRecruiter come July.
Yes, I think it's.
They should work for Serpro. It's almost like it never happened.
They're friends. You spend so much time like at practices and on the bus and on the planes, and like you're around these guys especially at these schools where guys don't leave for 4 or 5 years straight, and then you're like, oh shit, we lost, and it hits you like a fucking ton of bricks. And then you go to ZipRecruiter.com and use promo code TICKET to get 10% off your next salary.
I think what you should do, whenever it becomes very apparent that you're not going to make it in the NBA, but you do play for one of these teams, you start immediately taking business classes and you become best friends with the guy that is going. And you make your best pitch to become this guy's manager. You're like, I'll manage this guy's career.
Every practice you're just,
you know what I want thoughts on? Give me your thoughts on Amir Khan, the McNeese State manager, Pete.
Oh, this clown guy who walks around with the boom box.
Oh, the boom box with
bro. He's gotten more NIL deals than anyone on the team. I mean, that's preposterous. What, this guy's just blaring music. He's not doing anything.
I will say, seeing him show up on my feed and being like, use TurboTax to get to, I was like, all right, bro. Like I get it. Like, you know, it's tax season, but I don't need Amir Khan reminding me, you know?
Sure.
I mean, the guy seems like a good time, but I don't know if he should be doing a sponsorship for Little Caesars.
You know what?
It's ridiculous.
Another fun thing about this time of year is looking up where schools are. Like McNeese State.
Where is
a lot of time Googling where the fuck schools are. I don't know.
Where is McNeese State?
I think it might be in Louisiana.
Tennessee, maybe?
Wrong. It also may be in Alabama. I'll say this. Creighton's in Omaha, and that one I know. And there's a lot of schools. There's a lot of schools. This is the time of year where you just get Google out while teams playing. You're like, where are they?
Yeah,
Where
where do you think Lipscomb is?
exactly?
Oh,
Wofford.
McNeese State is in Louisiana.
Oh, I was right. Where the fuck is Wofford, dude?
Sure, sure.
You know what I
Oh
mean? Where's
yeah.
Drake?
Yeah.
Drake is
Yeah.
in Missouri,
You
no?
know? Where's Alabama? Where are they?
Oh no.
All right.
Drake University is in Iowa.
See,
Well, of course
that's
it is.
crazy.
Of course it is.
Not much
Um,
in Iowa anyways. I mean,
all right, we just spoke about our brackets, about how the Jets got Duke. Joe and I both have Florida, but guys, now that we're in the Sweet 16 here, do you stand by those picks? Who do you like from here on out to go win it all?
well, I will start off by saying who my problem is. It's a good problem because I think they're going to win it all. I don't think there's even a question. I think Duke is by far the best team in this whole bracket, in this whole everything. Cooper Flag is a special player, but Knipple is unbelievable. They got complimentary scoring coming out of the yin yang. They're just a great team. They cover spreads. They are going to beat the doors off of Arizona. Let me tell you this right
Oh
now.
my God.
I watched that Arizona game against Oregon. I took over Arizona second half. They were missing dunks, layups. You name it, you got it. This fucking RJ Lewis or whatever his name was horrific. Caleb Love is the only guy that they have on that team, and as far as I'm concerned, they are going to get. I think the spread right now is 9.5, -9.5. Duke, they're going to win by 20. Pop.
Duke's been blowing teams out all year. And Arizona is the most, you just don't know what you're going to get out of a team like Arizona because they shoot the ball. They shoot 1,000 threes a game. And if you go quiet for one night, you're toast.
Yeah, I
They don't
just
play
think that
defense. That they do that whole fucking West Coast basketball.
yeah, I like Duke, and I think that they're the best team in the country. I think, you know, the thing is they won the ACC without Cooper Flag. I mean, they're
Well,
a
the
really
ACC stinks. That's the other thing about Duke.
well. It used to be something. It used to
Correct.
be
But the,
good.
the one thing that you can say about Duke this year is that you don't know. They haven't played good teams. They played fucking Kentucky on opening night and they lost. And granted, it was 4 months ago, so it doesn't matter. Like it's irrelevant now. But the ACC is terrible. So they blew out every single team in the ACC, and no one knows if they're good or not. And I think I did believe they were good just based on the talent that they have. And then we're gonna find out. You get some of these matchups are electric coming up.
Yeah, I mean, so who do you think is a team that's left that probably has longer odds to win it all, but it could happen? You got teams like BYU, you got teams like
Well, yeah,
Arkansas.
I don't think BYU. I think Arkansas
I
can make a
fucking hate
serious run.
BYU.
Arkansas, I love BYU, man.
I hate them. They have banged
They
me more than
oh
any other
they
team
they're
this
the one
fucking
team
year.
that's taking care of me all season long. Their guy got ejected for no reason. I got to think who's.
I have a team that
Man,
I
let
think
me let
could
me
could
look at
win
the
it all.
bracket, Pop.
Michigan State is a team that I think is a longer shot. They got Ole Miss next. I think that they can beat that team. And I honestly
Let me
feel
look at
like
the bracket.
I feel like they're well coached. Tom Izzo is a great coach. I like them a lot.
I'll say
But
this: I loved Maryland. Oh, I okay. I loved Maryland, and then I saw them play Colorado State. I'm like, that's not the Maryland. What happened to my baby boys? That's not the Maryland I knew and love. And then I'll give you another team that I do think can win it all after seeing the first rounds, who I did think was is Houston. And I know they're a number one seed. Those guys are dogs. They are a lot of upperclassmen who've been there for a few years. Kelvin Sampson is crazy.
yeah,
Though I don't know if they're in the same side of the bracket.
Cryer is really good,
LJ
man.
Cryer is amazing. Sharp is amazing. They got like a 6-year senior as a big. They play good defense.
They're
Everything
unbelievable
to
until you
worry
need them to
about.
cover the second
I
half, and
will
then they fall
say,
apart.
I don't know if they're on this, if they're on the right side, the same side of the bracket as Duke. But if Duke faces them, that game will be electric.
I still think Michigan State, if they beat Ole Miss, they're probably going to face Auburn. And I think Auburn, out of all four of the one seeds, is the most gettable
Me too.
because they did not finish the rest of the year off very strong. They dropped a bunch of games. And, if Jeremiah Broome gets fouled, he misses half the free throws he takes anyways.
Oh, yeah.
I just feel like that's a team that's gettable. And I think Michigan State's a team, like if you wanted a longer shot tick, I think that they could do some damage.
Well, they first of all, Auburn's got to go through Michigan, which they have for the next
They'll
game.
beat Michigan.
You
I
think
can't.
so?
Yeah, I can't. I just said I don't think Michigan should be there. I'm shocked that they're there. But Auburn should take care of business. I wonder what the spread is on that game. It's got to be
It's
close.
8.5.
I was
Oh
going to
yeah.
guess 8.5.
I was gonna say
Of course,
9.5.
of course you were. You're
That's
sick
screaming
fuck.
8.5. I'd love to play that game. You just named matches and we guessed spreads.
Yeah, let's do a few of them actually. Let's do like a few.
God.
All right.
You have them
You
in
have
front
it
of you?
up?
Kentucky, Tennessee.
Tennessee -3.
Tennessee -2.5.
It's 4.5.
Wow.
Oh,
Four and a
wow.
half. It's four and a
All
half.
right, let's keep it
Houston, Purdue.
Houston
Houston
-7.
-6.
7.5.
Oh, okay, I got close.
7.5. 7.5.
Nice.
Texas Tech, Arkansas.
Texas
Ooh,
Tech
Tech
-3. 1.5.
5.5.
Oh my God.
Woo!
5.5.
Arkansas it is, baby.
Yeah. I like this game a lot.
All
This is
right,
a
let's
fun
do
game.
two more. Let's do Ole Miss and Michigan State.
Michigan State -7.
-8.
It's 3.5.
Yo, we're
three.
bad, man.
You got that
thought I'd
first
be
one off
good
the
at this.
bat, and then
Yeah.
all right, and then let's just do BYU and Alabama.
Alabama
Bama
-6.
-5.5.
5.5. There you
Oh!
go. It's a strong finish. It's a
Yeah.
strong
All right.
finish.
We'll see you next week.
Alabama's going to blow the door. I will continue to go against
No.
BYU until they lose. I hate this team. more than
Alabama.
anything. This team has
Let me tell you
banged me
something.
every single time. And you know what's going to happen? I'm finally going to give in to this fucking team. I'm finally going to be like, they're the real deal. And you know what they're going to do, Tick? They're going to implode. They're not going to make a single three. They're going to be flat. Those white kids are going to be running around like chickens with their heads cut off. And that's what's going to happen because that's what teams do. They bang me. They bang me. They bang me. And then finally, when I'm like, I'm on board, they fucking are nowhere to be seen.
Let me tell you something about Alabama. They're a great team, but
Mark Sears is true.
they are not built. Their style and the way they play is not built to win March Madness, and it's not built to cover spreads because all they do is fucking run and gun. They think
I love it.
They think they're fucking Loyola Marymount in the fucking 90s. They just fucking run and gun, even whether they're up 20 or whether they're up 15, whether there's 20 minutes in the half or whether there's 2 minutes in the half. They'll be up 20 points with 2 minutes left, and they're still running the lane, fucking shooting the ball. But that's why they don't cover spreads, because they don't put teams away, because they don't hang on to the ball at the end. They just go and go and go, and they start missing shots. And the other teams don't give up when they're down 20 with 2 minutes left.
That's what happened against Arkansas. It almost banged.
They make a couple threes at the end, and then it's over. The teams don't close anymore because they're shooting the ball with 22 on the clock, up 10 with 2 minutes left. It's insane. But that's the Alabama. A team like Bama, when you watch them play, they play like they're at the fucking local rec league. It's insane.
Yeah, but it's fun basketball to watch, man. They're putting up tons of points.
It is fun, but
I hate when a team just tries to kill the clock at the end. It's like if you're just watching it without a bet.
I'm just saying, it's not a winning formula. They have Sears is amazing, and then the other kid, I'm blanking on his name again. The big guy, the big lanky who fucking.
Oh, the white kid?
Yes, he's a great player.
He's really, really
great
good.
Player.
Yeah, he's really solid.
And they have they got a couple of guys. They have Youngblood, which is an all-time last name, out there draining threes, but they just don't close teams.
Hold on, I gotta check this.
And yes, before everybody tells me they closed St. Mary's, congratulations.
Sure. Well, yeah, I don't think anyone's patting them on the back.
Yeah, Augustus Marshallonis couldn't get a three on them.
Yeah.
He reminds me of Big Wave Dave, by the way.
Grant Nelson.
Oh, Grant Nelson, yeah.
Grant Nelson.
There you go. All right. Well, let's move on here. There's not a lot of other things to talk about, but I do want to quickly just circle back. Joe, did you say your problem was Duke? Was it a good problem? Is that what you were saying?
It was a good problem. Then I went on a rant about BYU. So maybe BYU is actually my problem because this team has banged me all year fucking long. The Mormons are just taking me and they're taking my money and they're just creating more Mormons. That's all they're doing. They're just having a field party with my losses.
It's all that caffeine you're drinking, Pete.
Hey, you're the one who's 2 Celsius is deep.
I don't have a gripe. I don't have a gripe with BYU.
Well, that's because you've been betting them every fucking game and you don't tell me.
You know, our boy Zach Irons is a big BYU guy.
Is he?
That adds up. You see,
Okay.
he had a post that went viral. Well, it got reshared. He was flying during March Madness and he had the row to himself. And he was on one of those, I don't know if it was like JetBlue where they have the live TV. So he put a different game on each screen and he was like, this is madness.
That's awesome.
Guy's a content factory,
By
man.
the way, I'm editing a future episode of Bob the Sports that I missed, which is going to tie into my problem later. But there just goes hole after hole after hole where Joe cannot let go of the fact that Jet put in a parlay that won big and did not tell Joey. It's like every hole he just keeps coming up. You think we're past it, and he's just like, "Oh, dude, I can't believe you didn't tell me the line."
Yeah, because Pop was in on it, man.
Which
Pop was
video
in
was
on
it?
it.
Yeah.
Which
It was.
video? Oh, when
it's
me and you won.
No. It's breaking eight. It's the breaking 80.
But is it the parlay that me and you won?
Yes.
Is it that one? Was that the one you guys were referring to? Because he was like, I was live
Pop was
betting.
like, oh, Jet was firing away early
That
and
was
often.
weeks ago. That was weeks ago.
That
This
was
was
the
just
QB.
last week.
Yeah.
Yeah. This was just last week. He did
Well,
some
no, you
live
told-
betting parlay,
Yeah, and you sent it to Pop, and I didn't get the you know, I feel like here's the thing is that like we've been riding together, and like I want to root for the fellas, but like you know, all of a sudden it's like I'm no longer in the fucking circle of trust anymore, and now Pop is in and getting the winners, and then this fucking March Madness, I got banged every which way, man. I will say it's not Jet's fault. It was a really tough slate, man.
Cutsy, you rush the pick. Like you want to bet every single game, every single line, every single spread.
Not every game.
I'm trying to pick my spots. And when you're coming in being like, what do you have for this? What do you have for this? I have this, I have that. And I'm trying to like stay focused. So I give you one or two picks, but then you're fucking all over the place. And then it's difficult.
By the way, the last parlay I gave you, it did hit.
I know,
That was
I didn't
an
even
Ole
pick.
Miss money line, Maryland money line, which I had to sweat out like crazy, and then Michigan State. One of the rare winners I had in a fucking in a plethora of losers, man. It was just there's a lot of red on those tickets, Pop. A lot of red. Red does not look good. I don't look good with. I want green, bro. I want green.
Yeah.
Jet's clearly wearing green. He's got a lot of green coming through that I wasn't told.
This
about.
is great. I'm very
Well, the hat's green.
fair enough. Cheers.
The only thing that's slightly hard about betting with Joe is that you will sometimes put in these bets and then you send the slip and I got to like read through the whole thing. When you just say hammer Colorado State, that's easy for me to do. But when you send the slip and I got to read through it all,
because I want to, it's because here's the reason I do that is because sometimes people are like, oh, take one play and they have two or three other plays and those plays hit and the one they give you loses. I would rather you see what I'm on. And then if you want to ride all of it, you can see like how much I'm putting on each game. So you know which games are my big ones.
Yeah.
But then if you don't want to ride one of the other ones, you don't have to, right? Like that's why I do it the way it is. Now, if you would rather me just tell one game, I can do that. I can make it easy.
For me,
it's a good thing I didn't share.
Easier.
It's a good thing I didn't share a lot with you this week because I got annihilated.
Yeah, well, I was shared with enough.
Well, you got a little bit of bruise, and
the Houston. I mean, now I don't want to get too far off topic here, but the Houston push was
that was a Jet pick, and it was a good pick.
It was a great.
They were up 14 points, and they forgot how to play basketball. And here's why I feel like some of these kids. I told Ticket this earlier, Jet, and hear me out. Those same kids, the said kids that we talked about earlier, who are no longer going to be playing in the NBA. This is it, the end of the road for them. I believe some of these kids are paying attention to what these lines are and might be getting paid a little money under the table to go ahead and blow a fucking 14-point lead with 3 minutes left to go just to get a little money in their pockets before the fucking tournament ends.
I'm not going to go that far. I just think that Vegas
possible.
Vegas is so good.
Vegas is running this thing every which way. It's like, March Madness is like a marionette and they got the strings and they're just making it dance. Yeah. And we're trying to figure out which way this thing's going to go.
True.
I mean, it's possible. I mean, that's not far off.
Never want to put a wager in again.
Yeah.
Till tonight.
Yeah, till tonight.
No.
Well, speaking of, let's move on here because baseball's about to start, Joseph. And we all know there comes a time when those first inning bets start rolling.
The NRFIs?
Yeah.
The Nerfies?
The Nerfies. That's your bread and butter, man.
I mean, it's the best bet to bet in baseball because you're in and out. right? Like you're literally, you go in there, you take care of business or you lose and you're gone. And regular season baseball correct me if I'm wrong, it drags on so long. And to watch a 3-hour baseball game just to lose in the ninth inning is one of the most infuriating things of all time.
There's this one moment in the Yankees episode where you're just like trying to convince these guys. You're like, yeah, I just think the season should be 100 games instead.
What also was hilarious that people were saying is you were asking about pitching. You're like, who teaches you how to throw a slider? Like you couldn't understand. Like,
well, because they hold the ball differently. Like you can't just as a kid figure out a knuckleball you hold like this.
He's a pitcher.
Yeah. Well, the key to a knuckleball, Joseph, is you want as little spin on the ball as possible so it darts through the air pockets and it makes the ball impossible to know for the hitter. It's the key to a knuckle. Don't even get me started on the knuckle curve. All right, but anyway, let's get into baseball. Let's just talk, the teams you guys like coming up. The Yankees obviously took a little bit of a hit. I don't know if they've got the juice, but you never know. The Mets,
they're banged up.
They look good. The Dodgers are the Dodgers again. I think Mookie's going to come back within the first week or so. Anyone you guys like coming up this season?
Well, Pop, I thought you liked the Phillies this year.
Oh, I love the Phillies. You're going to get how I feel. I love the Phillies. But I want to know what you like. You seem to be high on the Mets, right? You seem to like.
I mean, the Mets looked really good last year, and then they had one of the best players in baseball. It's just a question of like their pitching. How is it going to handle? I don't know. I do like them. I think the Phillies. I might join you on the Philly train this year, Pop. I might be a complimentary Phillies fan. I met Kyle Schwarber at the Waste Management. He could not have been a cooler guy. And just like he watches us, he wants to do an episode of Bob Does Sports. Like, I thought he was awesome. And you know what? I think the coolest man in baseball is Bryce Harper. This guy's got swag for days. So maybe I'll jump on that Phillies train with you. But it's hard to not look at the Dodgers top to bottom at their lineup and be like, this team's not going to win it. I think they got to be the front runners without question. American League. Who do you like, Jet? Do you like, the Yankees are banged up so bad.
I'm not even going to pretend I know anything about the current state of baseball. If you would ask me this question 12 years ago, I'd have a scouting report on every single fucking team. And I'd know pitchers you've never heard of that have been brought over from Japan. And I know that the wind patterns at Wrigley Field are sending balls during fucking April. But I'm sorry. I just don't know anything about baseball at this current second. I will get locked in. And I'll figure it out.
Are you still do you still root for the Cubs?
Not really. And I'll tell I once the Cubs won the World Series, that was it. We hit the mountaintop. That's how I am. If my team's like when the Bears win the Super Bowl, I'm out. When
you're out, that's a time
if the Bulls win the NBA Finals, I'll probably be out. When we hit 1 million subscribers, I'm going to quit.
Jeez, man, that means he's got a couple months left.
Well, probably like 30 days. I just with the Cubs though, specifically, like especially in Chicago, and I wasn't very old when they won, but there were people who had been sitting around for 100 years waiting for them to win. That like you kind of felt that, even though I was in my early 20s when they won, it still felt like I'd waited 100 years. That when it happened, they're really off the hook forever in Chicago for at least another 100. The Bears too, if they win, it's a wrap. And the Bulls. See, the thing about the NBA though is that NBA teams go on run. Like if you win 1 year in the NBA, you're likely going to fucking be around for a little bit. So I'll stick around for maybe a dynasty attempt. But, once you reach a mountaintop, what's the point of hanging out?
I mean, I understand it with a lot of them. With football, I don't know. Football, you just keep coming back.
I guess it's a very important. Yeah, I guess.
But, you got to keep coming back.
Yeah, I guess
football.
so. But
the fact of the matter is that the season's so short. It's only 17 games, right?
Correct.
So it's not like you have to lock in for like 5 months of just game after game after game. Like you just have to watch once a week.
Baseball's a problem in that sense. But listen, maybe I'll get behind some of the nerfies. I do love a day game. I love some nice day baseball.
There's nothing like a good old buckery from the Cincinnati Reds nerfy and 12 o'clock Eastern on a Wednesday afternoon makeup doubleheader.
I used to bet those. I used to hit those first innings like run under when I was fucking in like some office like 8 years ago, just fucking like not doing any work, pretend like looking. It was chaos.
Joe, at least for a few bets that I rode with him last year, he loves finding out when the Pittsburgh Pirates strut fucking Paul Skeens out there. And he's like,
Oh,
this is going to be a lock. And then I'm like, all right, this is great. Yeah, Paul Skeens is awesome. And we get through the 3 quickest outs you've ever seen. But then you remember the first innings, both teams pitchers. And then so the other guy's got to come out and we sweat out.
but we won more.
Single.
We won a bunch of them.
We did, but there were some squeakers where we had bases.
The problem with those ones is that you got to pay pretty high juice because Skeens is so good and he comes out firing 103-mile-an-hour fastballs that like it's like minus 170, and you're like, okay, but it's like, okay, it's minus 170. You got to basically get 3 outs.
When's opening day?
It's coming up. It's coming up in April.
All the nerfies on opening day.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, but Jet has a theory that there's some baseball diamonds where you can't do that, like San Francisco, because every second hit is going to be a home run.
No, there are some stadiums that, like San Francisco.
Have you heard this wild take from him?
In San Francisco, the games always go under because it's the weirdest thing. Guys,
don't they have the shadows coming in at some point?
Guys will hit smash balls into the gap that are all caught somehow. I'm telling you, there's certain stadiums that are just prone to runs. I promise you. Have you ever seen a ball in a gap in San Francisco? It's never happened. It's always caught.
Well, it is true. Baseball is the only sport where every single field is different. Like every single football field you go to, it's the exact same. Every basketball court, you can do whatever the fuck you want with the outfield.
It's true.
They get to do whatever the fuck they want.
The Astros used to have a hill in center field.
Well, the Angels have a fucking waterfall in the outfield.
But at least that's out of the playing field.
The Yankees, for the longest time, had the statues that are now part of after the outfield ends. They used to be in play. The guy in left field had to like dodge the statues out there, and then like they were like, maybe we should move this in and take that out of play. Yeah, but that's the other thing too, is they just every few years they just bring it in closer.
The Yankee Stadium is one of the easiest home runs you can hit if you take it out to right field. It's oh my god.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, so we're not quite locked in yet, but we will be at some point.
We had some baseball talk today.
Yeah, we did. We did. I'm going to take the Phillies to win it all. That's going to be my take.
Hell yeah,
maybe we do a Sportsman like future and just lock in all together. Just put a couple shekels on it.
I would sprinkle the Yankees too. I don't think they're done by.
Well, the Yankees are banged up. Garrett Cole's out for the year.
I know.
Tommy John. I mean, it's bad.
Yeah.
And the only reason I know is because in the Gamblers Digest group, Bob and Mikey V, every second day they just say how another guy's gone down, how the season's over. I'm like, yo, they haven't even thrown first pitch yet.
I'm taking a future right now in the Houston Cougars to win the national championship. Let me see what the odds.
Okay, well, wait. Why don't we do? Let's do something. Why don't we right now? I mean, because we don't really have a lot of sports to talk about. Why don't we right now pick a team from March Madness to go all the way? Pick. I guess are you down to ride Pop's Phillies to win the World Series? And then we take
any part of that.
No, but we let's do a 2 or 3 team future.
We parlay it.
Yeah, and then we take a team to win the NFL to win the Super Bowl.
Patience for that. I do think Houston can win the Natty though.
Okay, so let's take Houston to win the national title.
Okay,
but is this a parlay or all individual?
A parlay.
Oh my god, dude!
You're only going to put a couple. $20 on it.
Okay.
Houston to win the national title.
Yep.
The Phillies to win the Major League Baseball, the championship.
Okay.
And then let's pick a team to win the Super. Let's pick the Bills to win the Super Bowl.
The Bills? All right.
Out of respect for Josh Allen.
We need to pick an NBA team though,
or an NHL team.
Super Bowl 60, Buffalo. Okay. And
Buffalo.
Houston, and then we need an NBA team.
Let's take the Celtics. The Celtics.
I like the Celtics,
but didn't Tatum just go down? I got one for you. How about this? This is a long shot, but I don't even have. How about the Cleveland Cavaliers?
Well, that's just throwing money away.
Yeah.
Okay. How about that is throwing money. How about the Denver Nuggets?
I think we do the Celtics. Celtics beat the Thunder in it all.
We're picking both teams?
No, but you got to take the favorites because then you can hedge on the last one in the Super Bowl.
Well, the Nuggets have Jokic.
But the Super Bowl is going to be the last one of all this. So like,
Okay.
I don't want to be out. I don't know. I hear what you're
Okay,
saying.
so who do you want from the NBA?
I want Boston.
Okay, but is Tatum really hurt? I don't mind taking Boston.
No, they're plus 210.
Okay, so Boston, Celtics,
Houston.
Phillies, Houston Cougars, and the Buffalo Bills.
Listen, $15 pays 27 grand.
That's what I'm saying. You could put $20 on it.
All right, I'm in.
Are the Phillies actually on your card?
Plus 1,200.
Yeah.
Phillies.
Come on, let's do it. We'll call it the
wouldn't be shocked
Sportsman Future Parlay of.
right.
And by the way,
Okay.
I will tell you, if somehow this Houston Cougars win, it's just going to make it a lot of fun because we're going to have a while to talk about this as if we have a chance, even though we don't. But it'll make it fun.
Yeah.
I have $15 left in my account. I'm going to put all that $15 on this future.
I just did the same. Houston.
And that's what we're going to do.
Buffalo and Boston.
And if any sportsman wants to ride, this is a live taping future parlay that we just took.
Pop, are you
on
in?
a whim.
Yeah, it's plus 199,000. Is that what you guys have?
Yeah.
Wait, I gotta put this in. I was talking.
It's $10 to win 20 grand.
Yeah.
Okay. Boom.
That's what it's all about.
Sure,
fun
sure
with
is,
the
Pop.
fellas.
It's true. It's true. But if I bet 20, it's 40 grand.
Well, Pop, let's not go rogue here. I gotta hold on. I gotta go NBA, Celtics.
Watch Houston get bounced on Thursday.
They probably will.
I know.
All right. And
Awesome.
now I'm going.
That would
now I'm
honestly
going
be incredible.
MLB. I got MLB. I need to go NCAA.
But if we hit this all, if we hit everything, and we
That'd be the greatest thing of all time.
No, but I'm saying we have this footage forever.
I mean, it would be unbelievable.
Yeah.
And you know what? This is how, in reality, this is how these stupid bets get placed.
Mhm.
Okay, the last one I got to put is I don't even see NFL. Where the fuck is NFL?
How much did you actually put on it?
Me?
Yeah.
15.
15. Okay.
Yeah, 15.
All right.
NFL. Okay, here we go.
I put a parlay in on the second day of March Madness. I did all 16 games just to fuck around. It was like I put like $100 on it. It was 100 to win like 2.4 million or something.
All right, I'm in 15 to win $27,807.
Let's do it.
Wait. What did you just say, Jet? What was the bet?
I said the second day. I bet every single game, all 16 in a parlay. It was like 100 to win like 2.3 million. It's kind of fun.
Plus the 185,280 odds. Hey,
I mean, if you look at people's brackets, some people do get it right that the round of 64, they get all the games right.
No one's ever gotten every single game.
But the brackets are
just
money lines.
Just the round. Just
know,
the first round.
Pop, the brackets are just money lines. If you're betting spreads, it makes it infinitely hard.
No, I know. Well, that's true. I did. So you weren't taking money lines; you were taking spreads.
No, I was spreading. It's fun to just take every game and just fucking. I mean, obviously you're not going to win, but it's fun.
No, I do that with football Sundays.
We got to get Mr. Anderson now. Mr. Anderson will ride.
He'll ride it.
He's a rider. He's a rider.
Yeah, he's a rider.
I mean, listen, it's $15. Like it's a cost of a movie, and half the movies out there are dog shit, anyways. Now, at least we can have a little fun here.
I'm going to be totally honest. I put $50 on it.
Jeez.
Pop is making that big boy cheddar now.
But all we got to do is win.
What is it? What does the 50 make?
100.
Oh,
Yeah. But
by the way,
100,000. But the key is we got to win Houston, and then we got to win the Celtics, and then from there we can play with hedging.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I tell you this: if Houston and the Celtics win, I am going to be I'm going to watch every Phillies game the entire fucking year. I'm going to be dialed in. I'm going to get a fucking Trey Turner jersey. I'm going to be so dialed in.
All right. Beautiful. We've got NBA on here, but I'm not going to pretend like we're watching any of that. Let's just move on to.
We already covered the NBA. The Celtics are winning the championship.
The Celtics are winning the championship. All right, let's move on to who's a problem. Joe already did his. I'll go next. I missed last week's episode of filming when you guys did Breaking 80. I had to go to the dermatologist, and
oh boy,
my problem this week is me. Okay, it's not the dermatologist. This guy took out a camera bigger than the one we film Bob Does Sports with, and took pictures of about 100 moles on my skin.
Oh
He
my.
stuck a needle in me, numbed me, and took out pieces. I have 3 different pieces that he scraped out moles for biopsies. Okay, I need to start wearing sunscreen. I'm a real problem. I
Oh,
have
you wear a ton of sunscreen. What are you
not
talking
enough,
about?
not enough. You
Fuck,
should have
you
seen this
bathe in
guy.
this shit.
This guy looked like he was working for GQ as the photographer. He was all over me. It was unbelievable. I'm very concerned. I've got some serious issues.
We're not
I,
talking
I,
melanoma
I'm a
here, are
real
we?
problem. We'll find out in another 4 days. The guy's gonna give me a
I'll
call.
tell you what, I had a situation a few months ago where I looked at my foot, the bottom of my foot, and I had a situation there, and I immediately went to Google and was like, "What is this?" And they were like, "It's that." And
Don't do
I
that.
believed it because
WebMD is
but
always
we were in the
wrong.
sun all day for like a week straight, and we work in the sun, and I'm not good with the sunscreen. And I looked and I was like, oh my God. And it was really bad. Turns out it was a scab, but it was scary.
On your foot?
The back of my foot and really like the bottom of my foot, which to be honest, you don't
It's
really look at it.
covered.
Even if you're like in a fucking shot, yeah, but covering doesn't do anything. Even if you're like,
You wear shoes. How's
I
your
understand,
foot?
but the sun is the sun, dude. You can
The
get
sun's not a
wear a shirt.
laser beam going through your
Yeah, but
shoe.
people have shirts also. You can get like, what do you mean?
I don't know.
Like,
I don't
am
know
I am
enough
I
about
am I
this.
am I out on this?
I don't know enough
I
about that.
don't.
Can the
I
sun
think.
bury through your
Through
I,
shoe?
shoes seems highly unlikely.
yes, but
Oh my God.
I think you can get skin
I
problems.
mean, you're not wearing Crocs.
Know what? I think it can happen.
No, I did. I heard about a guy who passed away because they missed a mole that was in between his toes. Like it can happen. I just don't.
Yeah.
Not all moles are from the sun either.
Correct. That's the other thing. It might
Okay,
not.
well
Yeah.
then we're talking something different.
Sure. But it can happen. And wait till you see these scabs, dude. They're all yellow, dude. They're just.
Oh,
I'm gonna show you. I'm
no.
gonna show you. If
No.
we stream
No,
tonight,
no.
I'm gonna do it on the stream.
You know what it might be? It might be that the ghost might be playing around, like just
No, that could be true.
fingerprints.
All right. Yeah. All right. Let's move on. Jed, who's your problem this week?
I'm gonna go with, and I don't even know what you would call this because I was originally gonna go Dan Hurley until you mentioned Calipari, and then I changed my opinion on Dan Hurley. I'm gonna go with the coaching carousel in college basketball.
Okay.
I think it is unbelievably disrespectful as I'll call them an organization because these aren't schools; these are organizations. To fucking have your coach announce and leak that you're leaving McNeese State in Louisiana. They won round 1, and before they play round 2, it's announced that their fucking coach is leaving. That's so disrespectful. One, to the players, it's so like rude of the coach. Tell the fucking school that you'll talk to them or you'll sign immediately after your fucking thing. Don't make an announcement. Don't even give the opportunity for something to leak. I think it's crazy disrespectful. You got guys leaving schools immediately after the tournament. Iowa just signed the head coach from Drake an hour after his fucking tournament. The players can't do. I mean, now the players can. In the old days, it was even worse because the players weren't allowed to leave. I just think the whole system is fucked up. I think it's not right. And these coaches preach like pride and team and camaraderie and loyalty, and they're on the first flight out of there. Now, Will Wade is a fucking all-time scumbag. So it's not like shocking that he left after all that shit he pulled at LSU. But I don't know.
He clearly had a problem with Amir Khan's music.
Well, no, he's bringing Amir Khan with him.
He's bringing him with him.
Yeah, he's bringing him.
Are
with
you
him,
kidding me?
He's going from a manager to a graduate assistant, which is like,
oh my God, that is the most preposterous thing I've ever heard in my life.
And you have to feel, to be honest, for a lot of these players that come to a school. And listen, I maybe I shouldn't have called him a scumbag. I will say he's known for being kind of a slimy figure, but I will say a lot of these players come to a school because of the coach, and they're there to build something with the coach, and they might not have opportunities to bounce elsewhere after a second round exit. And these coaches are just fucking using these players to climb this rung. And it's like, why don't you build something at McNeese State and then go somewhere else?
I tell you,
because Will Wade's gone. He's going. Where's he going again? Fuck, where's he going? He's going somewhere.
Starts with an I think the school name.
I. Well, no,
I
the
think
guy
so.
from Drake's going to Iowa.
Iowa, yeah,
But
that's right.
no, Will
NC
Wade is
State.
NC State, which isn't exactly like a
By the way, their
powerhouse,
school
right?
sucks.
He's pulling
Their
the shot.
program this year, their basketball program, if you watched it at all, they were one of the worst. We talked about how bad the ACC was. They were one of the worst in the ACC.
Well, they
They were
made the Final
horrific.
Four last year, so like
They were terrible. Well, they
I
lost
know
that big guy that was
they
their bread and
left.
butter.
They Will Wade is leaving to go to NC State. This is called the Shaka Smart, is what this move. Remember, he took VCU to the Final Four, and then next thing you know, he was at Texas like an hour later. Fucking nuts. I think it was Texas. He went a
Pop,
couple.
did you see, speaking of coaches and like building rapport with your players, you see the UCLA coach just dogging
I know.
his team?
Oh,
I got the most energy during practice. Yo, he ripped these kids to shreds.
Mick Cronin's a nut job. He's the craziest guy in the world.
I couldn't believe they lost, by the way. I thought they had a real shot to win that game. I don't know what they were doing.
Bro, I don't know.
This is how I'm saying. The fact Michigan is still going through, they shouldn't be there.
I don't know how these kids play for coaches like Mick Cronin. Maybe he's just like the nicest guy ever, like behind closed doors.
Like a nut
and
job.
He lifts them up. But to see this guy, it's like Dan Hurley. I don't know. These guys fucking college coaches is another thing. It's the only job that it's like acceptable to do.
What coaching back in the day with Bobby Knight, he was hurling fucking chairs at these kids.
But they go up to these kids and they curse these kids out to their face, and then they get away with it. He's like, oh no, he's just coaching.
Well, I feel like it's getting better because, well, it's back in the day, these kids had no incentives aside from wanting to play pro ball. So like they weren't getting NIL deals, they weren't making any money. So the coaches would run them ragged. Yeah. Now at least they're making money and like they're getting opportunities to like not have to like deal with the abuse of some of these coaches.
I got no problem with coaches yelling at players again. Listen, if I was a coach, I'd fucking be in players' faces too. But there is a line where it goes from like coaching to like, all right, you're just this is just a way for guys who need anger management to like not do it because
you ever see Bruce Pearl lose his mind?
Kids out.
The guy changes into like a shade of pinkish red that you'll never see.
I love me some Bruce Pearl.
Yeah.
You know who actually stuck around for a while and tried to build something, at least for a little bit, was the guy who left for the Celtics, who was with Butler. And Brad Stevens. Yeah. He stuck it out, I thought, long. They went to the Final Four 4 years in a row or something.
But Butler it's an underrated program. It is a big-time program.
It wasn't a huge program before he came there and helped them out.
I guess. They're like, Butler is like,
because
they're not even in the tournament this year.
He built it.
Correct, but I guess he did. I mean, Indiana is like a basketball powerhouse.
By the way, there's another school. I didn't realize that Notre Dame is in Indiana up until recently.
I think it's right on the border there.
Notre Dame is in South Bend, Indiana. No, it's like an
no, but I didn't know that up until like a year ago. I had no idea.
Incredible. Yeah, it's in Indiana.
I was like, wait, it's in Indiana?
It's the middle of fucking nowhere in Indiana. Yeah, it's like actually not far from Chicago. It's like an hour and a half from Chicago.
Yeah. That's what I mean. It's like on the border there to Illinois.
Close. Yeah, somewhat.
It's not far.
I want to watch a game at Notre Dame.
I want to watch a game at Butler, dude. Butler's got like that legendary and I also want to see a game at Indiana, Assembly Hall with the dimensions.
Oh, that stadium looks terrible.
Yeah, but when you see that,
I'm talking about Notre Dame football, by the way, not basketball.
I was gonna say, what the fuck?
I want to watch a Notre Dame football game.
Yes, but when Indiana made that shot to beat Kentucky, that was the greatest stadium of all time.
It looks like a high school stadium.
It's so cool though. It's not. It's not.
Also, the Duke Stadium does not. It's there's something messed up with that.
Cameron Indoor.
What do you mean?
It's like one of the most famous ones
that's
going.
Cutsy, that's the whole charm of Duke is they play in an 8,000 stadium arena.
I understand that it's a high school stadium.
That's awesome though. Hey, and the hoops come down from the
and they sure do. Yeah.
Don't forget that. It's the only place, dude.
All right before we move on to viewer questions here, I just want to see, did you guys at the Valspar see Sahith Theegala just fucking rip his 7-iron or whatever that was?
Yeah, Juju talked about it all over TikTok.
Fucking hurled
Justin Thomas should be my problem, but I like him, so I'm going to spare him. But the fact that this guy hit a birdie putt, went up 3 strokes with 3 holes to play, and then proceeded to bogey 2 of the last 3
Come on the
holes.
show, please. Come on the show, Justin.
That's why I'm not bad. That's why he's not my problem. But
I know.
I feel like he
Tough to
was
win.
so excited, like he hasn't won in so long. He was so excited he had the lead. He just started swinging out of his shoes.
Get nervous out there. And you know what? You know who's the fucking man is Victor Hovland. Because
He's been terrible this year.
Bro, he wins and he's like, yeah, I suck at golf. My swing sucks. I'm so bad. I listen to fucking heavy metal all day.
Yeah, he's listening to Slipknot before he plays a round of 18.
You know what he mentioned I saw an interview with him, and he mentioned that band that you guys were talking about at Abandoned Dunes when we were talking.
Rammstein.
Yes, he was talking.
Rammstein.
Yeah.
Du hast. Du hast mich. Du hast mich, du fragst.
But what Justin Thomas did was the equivalent of what you were talking about with these kids like at Houston. That's the equivalent of just like
that happened to me all week.
Right there.
Yeah.
People can't close.
By the way, if we just parred 18, it would have gone to a playoff.
Tough to close. More tough to close a golf tournament than probably anything else in the world besides a fucking, I don't know, blockbuster.
Sure.
So it's actually pretty easy to close blockbusters.
They found a way to close
There's
all.
one left.
But other than Tagalog, did you see that other guy punt his putter?
Yeah, Patton
Kizzire, dude. He missed a putt. Joe, did you see this? And this guy took his putter he was still on the green. He didn't even putt. He didn't even finish out his putt. And he punted his putter across the green, had to walk to his bag, grab a wedge, and finish his putt.
Did he break it?
Yeah, it was bent.
And then he withdrew.
Well, that's what we went to the Callaway shoot. And I said to Siwoo Kim in the Masters. In the Masters, Siwoo Kim broke. Pop, in the Masters, I think it was a couple of years ago, Siwoo Kim broke his putter. Yeah. We were just playing with him at the Callaway shoot. And I asked him, and he said, he just leaned on it. He didn't lean on it. He fucking smashed it. And then he took out, I think it was a 3-wood, and he couldn't miss. He was nailing putts from 12 feet with this thing. So
he was awesome, dude.
I will say one other thing that I watched more of the Valspar tournament this year than I ever have in my entire life. But there was one of the coolest shots I've ever seen. Billy Horschel took his iron, flipped it upside down, and hit it as a lefty, and literally proceeded to put the fucking ball within 3 feet, 5 feet, and then drained the putt. It was one of the coolest shots I've ever seen. Shout out Billy Horschel. We also want you on the channel.
Sure. Victor Hovland, Billy Horschel, Justin Thomas. We'll take them all, dude. Hell, Pat Kizzire.
Well.
Oh, all right.
It's Patton, Patton.
Yeah, but he goes by Pat.
General Patton.
I thought he just goes by guy who punted his putter.
All right, let's move on here to viewer questions, and then we'll get out of here. First question comes from Anthony Ferraro. It's a classic fuck, marry, kill. John Calipari, Mike Krzyzewski, Rick Pitino.
Oh.
I got to kill Calipari. And then I would fuck around with Pitino, and I'd marry. I mean, Coach K is the greatest coach of all time.
He's a leader of men. He's a leader of men. He's more than a coach.
He wrote a book. He wrote a book.
Yeah.
Are you out on Coach K?
I didn't know you had a beef with Coach K.
Oh my God! The fact that he's thinking about killing him over Calipari.
I think he's a fraud. I hate to say.
Oh man,
you don't know. Oh, I've thought this for a long time, and Big Cat at Barstool has this bit about Coach K that anytime things go bad, he just fakes a fucking heart attack. Like he just falls on the court and they ship him off, and then he doesn't coach that season. And I was a big believer. I had that feeling as well. And then when Big Cat said it years ago, I was like, oh yeah, I get it. Because it's totally, he's the biggest, he's like you mentioned before, he's subtle. He pretends like it's not about him, but it's all about him. I'm going to get killed for that.
Maybe. I mean,
I'm telling you, he does. And then when things start going bad, he fakes an injury, and then he's just not with the team, and then he disappears, but he's still coaching them technically. And then he comes out every year after he's retired and has something to say about something. Listen, I'm not buying it.
Coach so K, who are you fucking? Who are you marrying? Who are you killing?
I'm killing Coach K, and I'm marrying Pitino and Calipari.
You're killing him over Calipari? You just were talking about what scumbag he is.
Because
is crazy.
No, because Calipari,
this is a real beef pop that we just unearthed.
I've mentioned this before, dude. Yeah, Mike Krzyzewski's a fraud. John Calipari You shouldn't be saying, Mr. Anderson, you got to help me out here. But
no, leave it all in, please.
John Calipari for like, he'll give you glimpses, and that's all I need. I just need a glimpse.
Okay. Coach
Well,
K
you know who gave you the whole thing
glimpses.
was Coach K.
No, Coach.
He gave you the whole vision, not a glimpse.
But I'm saying with Pitino, I'm looking at a full body of work. With Coach K, you also have that full body of work. So it really comes down to marrying Pitino or Coach K, and the other one you just have to kill. I just like Pitino better.
Okay.
What about you?
Yeah, I'm gonna marry K. I'm gonna F Rick, and I'm gonna kill Calipari.
This podcast is gonna get me fucking canceled, and I'm not even a member of the Sportsmen.
No,
you're fine.
No, you're fine. All right, moving on. Let's do Cade Magger. Did the NIL kill the chances of a mid-major making a Cinderella run in March?
I don't think so.
No?
I just think this year the team, like, they're just
maybe in football.
Why can't a mid-major, like, I guess I understand they don't have as much money, but it's not crazy for a mid-major to have some money to pay a kid. Like, these other schools are paying 10 kid. I don't know. I don't think it's impossible. No.
Okay. Joe?
No, I think it definitely makes it harder. I mean, that's the bottom line. I mean, if you're throwing out money to bring kids onto your program that could go elsewhere, it's gonna uneven the playing field. There's no question about it.
Sometimes the kids that lead these mid majors are not going to be paid anyways by a big time school. They're just lesser known guys who turn into something in college. It's not like these big schools are begging for these guys and they choose to go to a mid major. They're not being wanted by these guys, so they go to the mid-major. Now, if you want to say they're transferring after a few years, that's a different story. But you got a team together of a couple hungry dogs.
It is interesting that these SEC schools are getting much better when they're the ones with all
the
of the money.
Teams still left in the fucking tournament.
It has been good for years now, though.
Not in basketball like they are right
basketball.
Now. Not the domination of basketball like we've seen this year.
Okay, but until it happens 10 years in a row, it's a fucking anomaly. You can't I don't know. I also think that it needs to be more public for the NCAA, for a company that was so buttoned up for all these years, and you couldn't get a sandwich without having a violation. For it now to go so the other way to where nobody knows what anybody's getting paid, nobody knows who's getting paid. It's insane. They got to make that stuff public, and they need to put some restrictions on it. How do you go from one thing to the totally opposite? I don't get it.
That's a flip-flop.
Yeah.
They must be making money somewhere, obviously. Yeah. Otherwise, they would put more restrictions on.
There's always money to be made
agents and managers, and I'm sure kids are getting screwed in some situations. And it's like, you had all this oversight for 100 years, and now it's just gone? I don't get it.
It makes no sense.
All right, let's do one more and then we'll get out of here. Dylan Schramm wants to know who wins in a game of 21 out of the BDS guys. I think it's either.
I would say Jet.
It's either Jet or Bob. It's the two of you. It's going to come down to you two.
Jet's got a drippy jump shot. Now, that being said, if I played for like a week and I got my jump shot back, I could at least contend. Yeah, remember when we were in Wisconsin, I was firing threes? Like, I am normally pretty ass. I'm not. That's why I didn't put myself in the conversation. But like, it depends. Are we just playing 21? Or are we doing like a around the world? Like,
yes. See, I would do most of my damage in the paint in that type of game. I wouldn't be shooting because like you guys aren't.
Are you going low post?
No, it would be like drives, like floaters, because you guys aren't so. I mean, you're probably the tallest, and you like. It's not like there's any massive centers out there I got to go over. I would just do a couple body bumps and
that's why 21. I don't think I have.
No, I'd run out of gas. I'd run out of gas before Bob, so he might have that on me.
Well, that's why I said 21. I have no chance because if you miss, it ends up being like essentially a game of 1-on-1, and I don't think I could beat anybody 1-on-1. But if it's a strictly shooting game like around the world, I would contend.
I want to see The Rock in Ben Bones' hands. He's a tall boy.
Mr.
Lammers might be able to do some damage.
He strikes me as a guy who camps in the corner and just makes it rain.
I think so.
He's a driving kick guy.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know who has no chance is the one Jensen Custis.
Mm-hmm.
I thought you were going to say Poppy, to be honest.
He's an athletic little kid, though. He's very athletic. He's just you're just saying that you're just gonna stand over him just like
Jensen talks about his golf game, and I'm sure he's a good golfer. anytime I've seen him play, when he comes on and the few times I've seen him play, he hits the ball so hard. I've never seen him hit a ball and then find it, because every ball is hit 350 yards off the course. It's insane. He rips at that thing.
He loves going right out of the fucking park.
And he talks about like how good he plays, and I believe him. But anytime I've seen him, because you see the potential's there, but he just fucking yanks these balls.
Where was it where we at the Dominican or Wisconsin? Was it the Dominican that we did too?
We played again.
And then he was like, "You sure you don't want to play another hole or two?" And we're like, "No, we're done." Because he had a good shot. He wanted he desperately wants to play well. I'll give him credit for that.
Yeah, it's in there. He just got a real directional problem.
I think it might be a little nerves too, being on camera. He just wants to fucking smoke that thing. But
yeah,
that's true too. That's true. He wants to put a nice old tracer on his shot.
He wants a clip. He's in search of a clip.
He's in search of a clip. Sure. Hey,
I remember Poppy's first clip. Do you remember that one? The Christmas bonanza.
Yes.
He's like, "Merry Christmas, Bob does sports." And then he goes, "Come on," with that 3-wood. It was that Trump Jupiter.
And then not another clip for a year.
Yeah. Now we're back with the reviews.
Yeah. All right, boys. Another good one. We did a solid amount there for not having too much to talk about. Obviously, thick of it with March Madness, but everything else is a little slow right now. But
we have the
always fun,
parlay.
gentlemen. We got the Sportsman parlay. Be on the lookout for that plus 200,000 odds. Ride along with us. It could be over in a few days.
Houston's withdrawn from the tournament. Got it. All right. They're done.
Whiplash. All right, guys. Another fun one, and we will see everyone next week.